from a local market, we are contributing to a long value change that will bring about better future and new opportunities. And just like I'm doing that by buying this beautiful hat, I'm contributing towards this young man and Nigeria definitely. And that I will ask you to continue to support tourism. From Abuja, I'm Oyinaya Kalu Oka, NTA News.
Thank you, Oyinaya. Now, Islam in Nigeria and the current insecurity challenges formed the focus of this year's annual Independence Lecture organized by Muslim Congress of Nigeria. Musa Babali reports that the Muslim Congress condemned the act of terrorism and violence taking place in Nigeria. The report.
The Muslim Congress of Nigeria is concerned over the security challenges in the northern Nigeria, threatening the peace and unity among the different religious groups in the region. This is the reason why this year's Independence Lecture focuses on Islam and Muslims in Nigeria.
Treating these topics is not connected with recent events in our nation and the propaganda by some unscrupulous elements who try to label Islam and Muslims as responsible for the ills of our nation.
Speakers at the event therefore appealed to Muslims to shun violence and terrorism and live according to the tenet of Islam.
We need to put them on their toes, so that a lot needs to be done in Nigeria. So that lot that needs to be done, if you do something wrong, that is the Islam for you. Speak out and let the action go with it.
Justice Umar Farouk Abdullahi and other guests at the forum urged the federal government to put more effort in tackling the insecurity in the country. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
State governments have been urged to complement the federal government's efforts to generate more power for Nigerians. Minister of State Power, Mohammed Wakil, gave the charge when he received in audience a delegation from the Gombe State government. Isaac Nkuma was there.
Commending Gombe and Ebonyi states for the construction of 30 megawatts and 2,000 megawatts electricity generation plants, the Minister of State Power, Mohammed Wakil, challenged other states to follow suit as the task of ridding the nation of darkness cannot be left to the federal government alone. To this end, he said a presidential initiative on renewable energy is being deliberated where state governments, donor agencies, private sector and development partners could collaborate with the federal government on power generation.
The majority of our people are staying in the rural areas. And then it is our duty to light up the rural areas, especially through Operation Light Up Nigeria, the off-grid arrangement. That's why we are trying to reorganize rural electrification to see that we achieve this objective.
Leader of the delegation, Asma Mohammed, who is the Gombe State Commissioner for Science, Technology and Minerals Development, said the visit is to appeal to the federal government to hasten the implementation of the Dadinkowa Dam project in her state. In Abuja, Isaac Nkuma, NTA News.
You are watching Weekend File on the NTA network service. When we return, correspondence reports on schools resumption and level of preparations and prevention of Ebola virus in schools. Join us after the break.
Chords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood.
Change is never easy. It was not easy for Dr. Martin Luther King when Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew transformed Singapore from third world to first world. It was not easy. They stoned him. It was not easy for Nelson Mandela.
I, Barack Hussein Obama.
It was not easy for Barack Obama. Nothing worthwhile ever is. Dr. Martin Luther King did it. Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew did it. Nelson Mandela did it. Barack Obama did it. Goodluck Jonathan is doing it. He is transforming Nigeria. Mr. President, keep doing it. We who are with you are so many more than those who are against you. A message from protectors of Nigerian posterity.
He builds schools all over the country. He is giving free education to over 10,000 poor children. Born an Igbo man, raised in the north and empowered by the West. He believes in the unity of Nigeria. He is compassionate. He transformed Imo in 3 years. Every day, he thinks about the people. Owele Rochas Okorocha, Senior Advocate of the Nigerian masses and Commander of Free Education, come to the rescue. This message is from Nigeria Rescue Group.
Do you crave class? Do you have taste? And do you care about comfort? If you do, then for your next event, a stay away from home, a business trip, or a holiday, visit Jade's Hotel at 24 Undola Crescent, Wuse Zone 5, Abuja. Check out our world-class services, exquisite suites, restaurant and bar, gymnasium, spa and grills, and our outdoor catering services and cuisines. At Jade's, it can only be better. For bookings and reservations, visit us today at 24 Undola Crescent, Wuse Zone 5, Abuja, or visit www.jadeshotels.com. Our email address is info@jadeshotels.com. You can also call us on 09291-9321 or 0810-909-7956. Jade's Hotels. Welcome to life.
Transformation ambassadors of Nigeria.
My good people of Nigeria, does anybody use mirror to look at what you have at hand? No! Good luck at the ingredients of life. Automobile industries, full encouragement. Second Niger bridge from mirage to reality. Good luck! Railways, seaports and airports are come back to modern life. Good luck! Or a Benin highway and other federal highways from dead trap to modern spectacle. Good luck! There you are. Petrol and nyaf with control price and so many other etc. Good luck I do. Good luck are going to do. And good luck will be yours. Are you see what I'm saying? Only good luck affects the security challenges of Nigeria with honesty and commitment, fighting terrorism to a halt.
Good luck continue for Nigeria.
This message is brought to you courtesy Transformation Ambassadors of Nigeria. Done for One Vision, Nigeria.
Experience Katsina.
Home of a vibrant history, a culture of pride and peace. Centuries of tradition have built a solid foundation.
Invest in Katsina.
The future is here. Opportunity is everywhere. Nestled in northwest Nigeria, it's the home of untapped resources, solar and wind energy, and solid minerals.
Grow Katsina.
From the fertile land and the seeds of potential, grow cotton, corn, rice, and livestock. Katsina is the breadbasket for Nigeria and the region, home to the most important resource of all, our people.
Explore Katsina's potentials. Come invest in Katsina.
The President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, GCFR, has approved the award of national honors to some distinguished Nigerians and friends of Nigeria in the various categories. Letters conveying the awards have been dispatched to all recipients. The investiture ceremony will hold on Monday, 29 September 2014 at the International Conference Center, Abuja at 9 a.m. prompt. All recipients are entitled to come with 2 guests only. Invitation cards for the guests will be given to recipients during accreditation. All recipients and their guests must be seated in the hall by 8:30 a.m. Accreditation of all recipients will be done from Friday 26th to Sunday 28 September 2014 at Agura Hotel, Abuja from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily. All recipients, their guests, invited guests, and government officials are to come to the Eagle Square, from where they will be conveyed to the International Conference Center from 6:30 a.m. to 8 a.m. on Monday, the 29th of September 2014. All award recipients who have not received the letter of award will receive their letter during the accreditation exercise. Attendance is strictly by invitation. Signed, Dr. Tunde Adeyemo, Director Special Duties for Secretary to the Government of the Federation.
The organizing committee for the Independence Day Church service cordially invites all Christians to the interdenominational church service to mark Nigeria's 54th independence anniversary. Date, Sunday, September 28, 2014. Venue, National Christian Center, opposite Central Bank, Central Area, Abuja. Time, 3 p.m. prompt. Host, Pastor Ayo Orise Jafo, President, Christian Association of Nigeria. Chief Host, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, GCFR, President, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Oh, come, let us bow before the Lord our God in worship that he may hear, forgive, and heal our land. Announcer, Comrade Abba Moro, Honorable Minister of Interior, Chairman, Church Service Committee.
Thanks for staying with us on Weekend File tonight. The news of the Ebola virus disease, EVD, imported into Nigeria by the Liberian-American Patrick Sawyer sent many Nigerians into pandemonium. Recognizing that schools are inevitable congregation for the populace, the federal government quickly extended the resumption of schools until preventive measures are put in place to avoid the EVD spread in primary and secondary schools nationwide. Just as the schools were reopening on the 22nd of September, President Jonathan was at the 69th United Nations General Assembly, where he declared confidently that Nigeria was free of the disease, given the widely acknowledged joint efforts to track it down. Correspondent Frank Ozoma Olua monitored the level of compliance in schools for the EVD prevention. The report.
For the education sector, the news of the Ebola virus disease, EVD, created opportunity for stakeholders to take a major decision as regards the opening of schools.
Primary and secondary schools, public and private, will reopen and begin formal classes on Monday, the 22nd of September, 2014. And we shall continue to ensure the safety and well-being of our students.
The extension of schools resumption date from 8th of September to 22nd was to enable school administrators take proactive measures to shield pupils, students and teachers from any Ebola incursion. After a 2-month-long holiday, school children eventually returned with enthusiasm and had to learn new ways of improving personal hygiene.
If you know you are not feeling fine, I saw a student sitting down there. If you know you are not feeling fine, come out now. We don't want any students to fall down here and collapse.
Don't be afraid. I will stay in the house because of Ebola. My friend will not touch me because of Ebola. No, he has gone. But I say, if you are sick, you have a headache in the house, please tell your parents, tell your guidance so that they will treat you well enough. Don't be sick and come to school and start popping the school bed. Maybe nurse will treat you. If you are sick, we are told no school will not give you admission if you have fever. So if you are tested now, when they say tested, they will say go back.
With the awareness on the EVD, many schools now have the temperature body scanners, steady supply of water, liquid soaps and hand sanitizers at the entrance of the schools.
Ebola virus is a deadly disease and it can kill. The symptoms are vomiting, red eye, diarrhea.
So how do you prevent it?
By keeping your environment clean, making sure that you wash your hands.
Governments have tried their best to provide us with all the facilities of Ebola virus disease, which they are with us, and we are ready for the takeoff for the section.
Despite agitations on the resumption date of schools, the Ebola virus disease scourge has been fought and won in Nigeria.
Through the concerted effort of our healthcare professionals, the World Health Organization, and our international partners, we have been able to contain the Ebola virus disease, and we can confidently say that Nigeria is today Ebola-free. And let me repeat very clearly that Nigeria is Ebola-free.
Meanwhile, some non-governmental organizations are leading campaigns in many schools of the Federation to sensitize pupils and students on precautionary measures on the EVD.
Most of the schools within the cities that even claim that they have the equipment also emphasize that it is not enough, meaning that we are still asking government, urging the government to ensure that adequate equipment, hand gloves. One of the schools we visited also said that they don't have gloves.
With sustained campaign on effective hygiene by Nigerians, many say the EVD will remain an imported disease and not human-to-human disease in the country. In Abuja, Franca Uzoma Olua, NTA News.
From the southeast comes a report that although most private and public schools in the zone complied with the federal government's directive of the 22nd September resumption date, not all the requirements set by the federal government for preventive measures before resumption have been met in all the states in the zone. Chinyere Nwoye tells us more.
Although most private and public schools in Enugu State complied with the federal government's directive of the 22nd September resumption date, classes were yet to resume in public schools but were on in private schools.
We are not going to classes yet. The commissioner says this week is for training.
The Commissioner for Education, Enugu State, Professor Uche Chukwokolo, said teachers in the state have been trained to use personal hygiene equipment and protective kits, which will be deployed to schools.
They'll get back to school. We now supply them. If they're not in school, are we going to give it to who?
However, management of public and private schools in Enugu State say they are yet to receive the equipment.
We are still waiting for them. But meanwhile, we have provided a few materials.
Findings have shown that not all the requirements set by government before resumption have been met in Anambra State, even though teachers and students were eager to settle down for the academic year.
Bringing back what we call practical hygiene back to school. Even the private schools will get the infrared equipment.
Most schools in Ebonyi State complied with the resumption directive, though with minimal attendance of pupils and students. In Imo and Abia states, public schools are yet to resume for the new academic year. The Assistant Director of School Services, Ministry of Education, Abanot Ugeze Nwabeke, said the schools are still expecting materials required by the government to be provided before resumption. How do parents, school children, and other stakeholders feel?
I'm so happy to come to school and learn again.
I heard of the personal hygiene in this school, and I decided to bring her.
It is the view of respondents that some level of success have been achieved at putting to an end the spread of Ebola virus disease, but they are skeptical about the safety of school children without the installation of adequate measures in schools. In Enugu, Chinyere Nwoye, NTA News.
Academic activities have commenced in both public and private schools in Kaduna State, despite the low turnout of pupils and students in most of the schools. Correspondent Ahmed Omar Kudan reports that the low turnout has been attributed to forthcoming Eid-el-Kabir celebration.
Following the federal government's directive that schools across the country should resume on 22nd September, and the need to keep all children free from Ebola virus, 2 teachers from each school in Kaduna State have undergone training on preventive and protective measures. Ebola testing kits had been provided and distributed to both public and private schools.
The government has made announcement that each school is going to have at least 2 infrared thermometers for testing the temperature of the learners before coming into the school. But unfortunately, we have one.
All public schools have those equipment. The IR, that is the infrared thermometers. They have the sanitizers. They go, what do we do first? Is doing the first thing first. Do we pay the school fees and forget about the Salah? Or do we forget about the school fees and then celebrate the Salah?
The students were encouraged on personal hygiene to prevent themselves from contracting Ebola virus or any other disease.
We wash our hands in order to sanitize ourselves against any disease or virus.
Kaduna State Commissioner of Education Ibrahim Ali said about 116 million naira was spent on training and purchase of Ebola preventive kits.
So parents should feel free, should be convinced that we have taken necessary measures to take care of their children and what.
And from Kano, Correspondent Fatima Solusi Karaye reports that most schools remain closed, while some few others that have taken preventive measures have opened.
We are more than ready. We have our scanners, while we also have our chlorinated water.
MUT National directs all states to inform all headmasters and principals to close down their schools on 22 until when the state government provides the necessary kits.
However, Kano State Ministry of Education stressed that schools in the state will remain closed until after Eid al-Kabir celebrations. In Kaduna, Ahmad Umar Kudan, NT News.
As some schools have resumed in Lagos for the 2014-2015 academic year in the wake of the outbreak of the Ebola virus disease, the question in the minds of people is, how are the schools complying with the requirements set by federal government? Jane Ojukwu has a situation report.
Most schools in Lagos did not resume on the 22nd of September due to a decision of the state governor to postpone school resumption till the 8th of October. This, the governor explained, was to enable all schools prepare adequately to prevent the spread of the deadly virus among the students. Some of the schools' managements who were on ground explained that their presence is to further enlighten their teachers on Ebola prevention techniques ahead of resumption.
Most of the things we're supposed to take delivery of, we've not taken delivery of them, and I don't want us to risk, the lives of children because of money.
Some of the schools that resumed on the 22nd of September include military and missionary-controlled schools. How prepared are they towards containing Ebola spread?
They are more than ready.
All the equipment required to test and screen the children were put in place.
How do parents feel about releasing their children to schools, particularly as the nation still grapples with the Ebola challenge?
If they notice any abnormality in temperature, there is a way they handle that.
We have confidence in that. Some of the students also shared their views.
No, there's no scanner, but there's sanitizer. That was the main reason why they brought those hand sanitizer and hand soap to wash our hands, in order to prevent us.
While stakeholders continue to revel in the cheering news that Nigeria is currently free of Ebola, the expectations and wishes of Nigerians are that school authorities should enforce strict compliance with all the requirements set by the government on Ebola prevention and control. That way, the success story will not be short-lived. In Lagos, Jane Ojukwu, NTA News.
Well, a guest is standing by to shed more light on the issue of school resumption and staying healthy after Ebola. Don't go away.
Introducing the great tasting new Mini-Me Chin Chin. Rich and yummy ingredients like milk, butter, and wheat.
Mini-Me, crunchy. Mini-Me, tasty.
Playful, cheerful, joyful, break the boredom with the unique taste of Mini-Me Chin Chin.
Like my Mini-Me, yeah.
Auntie.
Hello, my dear. I see you went shopping with your mom, right? And what did you buy?
Power oil. It has 0 cholesterol and 0 trans fats, and contains vitamin A and natural vitamin E. It's a healthy oil for a healthy family.
I'll buy Power Oil next time I go shopping, huh?
Power Oil. Healthy for you.
Bragging is not President Goodluck Jonathan's style, so you'd hardly hear him brag about all the great things he is doing for Nigeria. He wouldn't tell you he's the first president to privatize power, to give us a constant supply of electricity and economic prosperity. Soon your electricity will be like your mobile phones, 24 hours, 7 days a week. He won't brag about security, new roads, new rail, or new airports, eliminating corruption in agriculture and saving $25 billion per year, mass housing projects, or that our economy is growing at the fastest rate in the world. He wouldn't brag about any of it because he knows there's a lot more to be done. Mr. President, right on. We that are with you are so many more than those who are against you. A message from protectors of Nigerian posterity.
And our guest tonight to discuss the topical issue is the Corps Coordinator General, Environmental Ethics and Safety Corps, Emenike Nwachukwu. You're welcome to Weekend File.
Thank you.
This is a department or an agency that people who have not heard about onto this issue of Ebola, the environmental ethics and safety. Now, what is your role in all of this, especially as it concerns hygiene now that the schools have resumed?
Thank you. But may I please start with congratulating the federal government for a successful and conclusive fight. Today, Ebola has left the country. Nigeria is Ebola-free, and this gives all of us a lot of cause to celebrate. But then, Environmental Ethics and Safety Corps is a non-governmental organization that has been in place as far back as 2009, reinvigorated by the Special Advisor to the President on Ethics and Value, Dr. Mrs. Sarah Jibril, last year. And since then, we've been working with the FCTA Education Secretariat. We've been working in schools, and our concern is that we want to create a clean and safe environment for all Nigerian schools. We really commend the foresight of the FCTA Education Secretariat for giving us the permission and actually selecting a number of schools as a pilot, and we've been doing hygiene and sanitation in these schools. So Ebola isn't our starting point, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, you have been inspecting schools, especially in the rural areas. What have you been finding with respect to some measures, especially that have to do with hygiene?
Well, even before Ebola, we've seen the need for a sustained activities in the schools. Activities that will teach the children the basics of personal hygiene and sanitation. And this has been our focus. Concerning our role in this Ebola issue, we've been concerned with training teachers, training the school children, not just inspecting the schools, maybe to determine what has been well done or what has not been well done, but to see how far we can now move forward from where government has initiated action. For instance, government has made some provisions of thermometers and hand gloves, sanitizers, and all of that. But we have actually seen the need for public involvement in all of this, because this is not going to be a one-man fight. For instance, today we are not talking of fighting Ebola, but we are talking about sustaining sanitation in the schools so that not only Ebola will not reoccur, but all of the other sicknesses, diarrhea, whatever epidemic that may break out. So that is our focus.
Under normal circumstances, schools should have some infrastructure provided that will have to do with hygiene, like water, like good toilets, and all of that. Now you've been to some schools. What are you finding? Are you satisfied with the efforts being made by the school authorities where you have been to in this, would I say, fight or in these preventive measures that we're trying to put in place?
Yeah, preventive measure. Yes, I will say point blank that a lot still remains to be done. A lot still remains to be done. Thank God we have fought Ebola, we have conquered Ebola, but we need to sustain this. And then the facilities that are in place, according to our own findings, are not enough. There is need for government to do more, but what we have been emphasizing wherever we've gone is that this battle is not a government battle alone. The public sector has to come in, parents have to come in, and in fact, we are satisfied with efforts being made by some schools, like those in Buhari and some schools in Abia State, where the teachers themselves organized themselves, motivated the public, and they were able to make provisions, to make contributions towards providing these essential things.
Now, in many schools and, of course, public places, there are just infrared guns used in checking the temperature
like
of Nigerians. Does it have any side effect?
Yeah, the infrared guns have side effects. When they are wrongly applied, when they are wrongly used. Like the infrared rays are dangerous to the human eye. And that is why in any school we go, we teach teachers, even the students, how this should be used. And we recommend using, maybe I can scan you, we recommend pointing the ray at the back of the ear. That's what we do. Because if you may actually point at the forehead, but the risk is that you may hit the eyeball and then you create other complications for the doctors.
Now, we've seen some security staff of different public buildings, in different public buildings who are using this, applying this, on a daily basis. Have they been trained? Because the way it's being used is like it's being used indiscriminately. Are those people trained to make use of this gadget?
Yeah, this is one question that may be difficult to answer. We do recommend training. Like our staff are trained, and we know of some other organizations that are trained. Basically, the environmental health officers of Nigeria are well trained in these issues. And so they have been helping to train other, particularly non-governmental organizations that have come to them for training. But you see, the random use of this thing by so many is a clear indication of the eagerness of Nigerians to come together and tackle a common problem. So we would say that there is great need for training. There must be a serialized training, controlled training.
Who should provide this training?
The professionals should, sponsored by government and non-government bodies. Everybody has to take part in this, but there are specialists, there are medical doctors, there are environmental health officers, and there are environmental ethics and safety marshals that have been trained, well trained in all of this, who should now go out to provide training. And sir, this is just what we are saying we are doing and we are advocating to do in schools, in FCT, in Ogun State, in Cross River, in Kogi State, and so many other states, in 21 states of this country. Governments of these states have given us the permission to deploy our marshals in schools. The purpose is for training, not just training the teachers, but training the students as well. So training is of essence.
Now, back again to issue of cleanliness. Beyond Ebola, how should Nigerians maintain the tempo of personal hygiene and, of course, environmental cleanliness?
There are too many ways we can do that. But one clear way we can do it and achieve it is by sustaining what has been started. We have to go for continuity. This effort that government has initiated has to be sustained. There has to be a body of persons coordinating these activities such that the training and the retraining and the inspection and surveillance continue in the schools. Because the essence of all of this is to create in people positive habits of personal hygiene and cleanliness. And positive habits are not easy to come by. They need time and they need to be sustained for a long period of time. So we are advocating that both government and the public should support the programs that Environmental Ethics and Safety Corps has initiated in schools, which program we call Mass Action for Environmental Sustainability, Sanitation and Hygiene. And we are doing this in synergy with the Environmental Health Officers of Nigeria, the Ministry of Environment, and the National Assembly House of Representatives Committee on Environment. We have also gone to the Ministry of Health, and we are working with all these agencies as a kind of synergy to make sure that what we have started is sustained.
Now, you mentioned the programs that you've put in place. What are those programs, and how can they be achieved?
Let me get you clearly.
You mentioned about the programs that your corps has, right, to ensure that the tempo is sustained.
Yes, we have the omnibus program we are running, we call MAESA, Mass Action for Environmental Sustainability, Sanitation and Hygiene. This program has 4 cardinal projects. The one that is directly hitting the school, we call it Clean Tomorrow Today. Clean Tomorrow Today. In this Clean Tomorrow Today, we deploy environmental ethics and safety corps marshals in schools. And in the schools, they carry out environmental education, environmental surveillance. They carry out programs that will cultivate compliance to sanitation norms. So those are the things we do. We also teach them how we can use wastes to produce wealth in the schools.
All right, you have done well, if that is what is on ground at the moment. Now, how do you source your funding? Who is funding this call? And how has the funding been? How has it been, all this while?
Well, the issue of funding in Nigeria is a well-known thing to so many people. Good programs often suffer and die because of lack of funding. However, so far so good. We have received funds from some philanthropists. We have also received some material donations from the public who are interested in what we are doing. Some PTA of some schools have also come together to support what we are doing, but that is not enough. We are hoping that government will come in with funding. We have made proposals for government to partner with us in this program, even though we are not a government agency, but we can partner with government for the purpose of supplying what the other lacks, funding, so that the program that is meant to benefit people in Nigeria is realizable.
Emenike Nwachukwu, we appreciate your contribution to the program tonight. And thank you for sharing your time with us.
Thank you. But I would want to leave
in 2 seconds.
I will want to leave by requesting that Mr. President should declare a national day of thanksgiving to God for having guided us to defeat Ebola. Very, very essential. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. Once again, I've been speaking with Emenike Nwachukwu. He is the Coordinator General, Environmental Ethics and Safety. Coming up on Weekend File is the sports. Stay with us.
I don't tire for all the things where you dey yarn.
You dey yarn no pata. Shey you think say na only you fit buga? I go show you.
This matter don't pass, be careful.
You dey show yourself all these years, I just dey look you. This time, you go know the kind of person we are.
I been dey watch as you dey try scatter my future.
The future where I dey try organize for myself. Small. Na him you dey try kill, abi?
Not to kill, scatter, and destroy my purpose always do your agenda, abi? Oh, but you know, Fito, not this time.
I don't set my own agenda.
I know how well your agenda go fit past my agenda.
Because my agenda is strong past your agenda.
For this election, the agenda now.
It's our future.
No violence.
Just vote.
Set the agenda for this election. No violence, just vote.
Bragging is not President Goodluck Jonathan's style, so you'd hardly hear him brag about all the great things he is doing for Nigeria. He wouldn't tell you he's the first president to privatize power, to give us a constant supply of electricity and economic prosperity. Soon your electricity will be like your mobile phones, 24 hours, 7 days a week. He won't brag about security, new roads, new rail, or new airports, eliminating corruption in agriculture and saving $25 billion per year, mass housing projects, or that our economy is growing at the fastest rate in the world. he wouldn't brag about any of it because he knows there's a lot more to be done. Mr. President, right on. We that are with you are so many more than those who are against you. A message from protectors of Nigerian posterity.
Nigeria's Flying Eagles have qualified for the next year's Africa Youth Championship with a 5-0 victory over Gabon at the UJS Stadium in Calabar. Gabon won the first leg 2-1 a fortnight ago. Sports injuries in focus as the National Orthopedic Hospital rounds off a 3-day conference in Lagos. Ikoyi Golf Club to mark Nigeria's independence, plus results from Barclays Premier League. Details in our sports update with Henry Ifiom.
The 3-day event, organized by the National Orthopedic Hospital in Lagos, focused on the prevention, management and rehabilitation of persons who sustain injury through sports. Speakers at the forum stressed on the need to have medical specialists during sports meets and advised athletes to always adhere strictly to prescribed therapy for recovery after sustaining an injury.
Ultimately, our hope is that having stimulated interest will help more people, not only doctors, physiotherapists, occupational therapists, and all other health workers who are interested in sports to come together to form a sports medicine team so that Igbobi will be one of the centers of excellence.
And as part of activities to mark the country's 54th independence anniversary, the Ikoyi Golf Club is organizing a week-long golf tournament tagged Nigeria Cup. About 200 golfers, which include professionals, caddies, ladies, guests and veterans, will take part in the competition, which organizers say is to celebrate the values of the country.
It's an amateur competition, so golfing, people play according to their handicap. We're expecting about 50 to 60 children playing.
Proceeds from the tournament is expected to be dedicated to charity and youth development projects of the club. And now to week 6 results of the Barclays Premier League, with leaders Chelsea easing past Aston Villa 3-0 and goal number 8 for Blues talisman Diego Costa.
Diego Costa!
Well, that's much we can take from Sports Update. Now, it is your right to challenge anybody suspected to be involved in unwholesome activities around you. Be security conscious. This message is from the Directorate of State Security. And that's how it's been today on Weekend File. There'll be a fresh package for you next week. Good night.
This is the network service of the NTA.
Everybody has heard it. The farmer in the bush, the worker in the office, the student in the classroom, the woman in the market, the trader in the store have had it. All have a TAN National Rally Train for the Northwest Zone has moved to Kano City for Saturday, 27 September 2014. Venue is Kano Polo Ground, Independence Road, Nasarawa Local Government Area, Kano State. And time 10 a.m. Are you from Kano State? Jigawa, Kebbi, Katsina, Sokoto, and Zamfara? TAN National Rally 2014 at Kano is your best chance to say thank you to the man who has revived the dead railways, built many more dams to improve our agriculture, given enhancement to the lives of our children through the Almajiri education, free medical care for our pregnant women and children by Goodluck Jonathan, and good roads all over the place built by Goodluck Jonathan. Let's turn out a mass to say thank you to President Goodluck Jonathan for our job well done and to say we want more. Northwest love Goodluck.
Are you a Nigerian woman?